everybody. How are you all doing? I hope that you're doing fine and I hope that you're ready for the lesson today. So, we'll be having sentences, fragments, and run-ons. Okay, so we will have sentences, fragments, run-on for the high school, but we will be checking from grade 10 today. Okay, so first off, I'm just going to share my screen. And then you can log in using like the aplustudent.com. So you log in using the aplustudent.com with your email and your password. Then click on the grade that you'll be working on. Okay. So that's what we'll be doing. First, also you can also see your names here. Where you find the names, you click on your name. Then we go to grade 10 from high school. So that's what we'll be doing. So we just need to scroll down until we find like the sentences, fragments, and run-on. Okay, so this is it here. We have three lessons under the sentences, fragments, and run-on, and that's what we will do. Okay, so first off, it says identify fragments. So we have to be able to identify them so that we know what this lesson is all about. Okay, so this is every information here that we need to take note of. Okay, so first off, what's a fragment? A sentence fragment. A sentence fragment is a group of words that does not express a complete thought. So you see this over here. A sentence fragment does not express a complete thought. And also, for you to be able to differentiate between a sentence fragment, you need to know what the complete sentence is. So now the complete sentence is a group of words that express a complete thought. Okay? Now, a complete sentence expresses a complete thought. It has everything in the sentence, a subject, a verb, nothing is missing in the sentence. Okay, just like the band I am in has been releasing daily because we have a concert in 2 weeks. So this is a complete sentence because it has the band which is the subject, and rehearsing, which is the verb, because that's what they are doing, right? So a complete sentence expresses a complete thought with everything intact in the sentence. Nothing is missing, just like the sentence. So it has the complete thought, it has the subject, the predicate, the verb, everything. So now the band I am in has been rehearsing daily because we have a concert in 2 weeks. So that's what a complete sentence is. But then a sentence fragment is a group of words that does not express a complete thought. Okay, rehearsing daily because we have a concert in 2 weeks. So now, if you can see the difference, right, between the complete sentence and the sentence fragments, right? This one says rehearsing daily because we have a concert in 2 weeks. So who is rehearsing? The thing is, we have no idea and we do not know who is rehearsing. It just says rehearsing daily. So, who is rehearsing? We do not know, right? That is the difference between a complete sentence and a sentence fragment. A complete sentence will tell you that the band, like just the example here, it says the band, okay, but then the sentence fragment just says rehearsing. So now we do not know who is rehearsing. So you see that something is actually missing in the sentence. Okay, so in this case the subject is missing. Okay, it doesn't tell who is rehearsing. All right, so it's supposed to tell us that the band I am in is rehearsing, but it doesn't tell us that the band, that's the band. Okay, so that's like literally the difference between the sentence, complete sentence, and the sentence fragment. Of course, the sentence fragment will miss something, so it's not going to be complete. That's why it's called a fragment. All right. So now, if you have another sentence and then it says because we have a concert in 2 weeks, then what is going on? All right, so this one is rehearsing daily. Okay, it's missing a subject. Now it says the band I am in. This other one says the band I am in. So now the fragment is missing a verb because it doesn't tell what the band I am in is doing. So if you just hear a sentence and then it tells you the band I am in, so what's happening with the band you're in? What's the band doing? We have no idea what the band is doing, right? So this one just says the band I am in. So now this fragment is missing a verb because it's not telling us that the band is rehearsing. Okay? And then next off is because we have a concert in 2 weeks. So it says because we have a concert in 2 weeks. Now this fragment is missing an independent clause. It doesn't tell what happened because of the concert. Okay? It just says because we have a concert in 2 weeks. So now, first of all, we do not know who is having the concert, and also second, we do not know what they did in preparation for the concert. We all know that before we have a concert, we need to practice and some other preparation, but this one doesn't state the practice or preparation that has happened. Okay, that's basically the difference between the sentence fragment and the sentence. So sentence fragments could miss a subject, a verb, independent clause, dependent clause. It could miss anything. So you know that the sentence is incomplete. Okay, so we have some examples here. The first one says the agency monitoring air quality at various locations across the country. Okay, so it says the agency monitoring air quality at various locations across the country. Now, this is a sentence fragment, it does not express a complete thought. So, why doesn't it express a complete thought? What is missing? You need to fix this sentence because it just says the agency monitoring air quality at various locations across the country. Now, to fix this sentence fragment, you need to say the agency has been monitoring air quality at various locations across the country. Has been. Okay? That's how you monitor it. You need to add the has been. So obviously something is missing in the sentence, right? So it's not a balanced sentence because you do not have has been. Okay? So that's it for sentence fragment. Now, is this a sentence fragment? During the construction of Mount Rushmore, approximately 800 million pounds of rock from the mountain to create the monuments. Okay, during the construction of Mount Rushmore, approximately 800 million pounds of rock from the mountain to create the monument. So now, yeah, it's a sentence fragment because it just tells you that approximately 800 million pounds of rock. What happened to the rock? Was the rock used? Was it were they removed, or what happened? We have no idea, right? It only just says approximately 800 million pounds of rock from the mountain to create the monument. So it's something is missing because it cannot tell us that okay, these rocks were removed to create the monuments. So you see, this is a sentence fragment. It's missing something. So one thing that you would notice with the sentence fragment is that something will definitely be missing. It's not going to have something in the sentence. So that's the best way to figure it out. On the other hand, the complete sentence will not miss anything. You have everything completed. Okay, so even when you are writing, eventually you have to write an essay or something, and then you omit something. Maybe you miss something in the sentence. That makes what your work a sentence fragment. It makes it incomplete, makes it not able to express a complete thought, and we won't understand what you're writing, or your teacher would have no idea what you're saying or what you're doing. So that's it. Okay. So let's see some more examples. So it says, is this a sentence fragment? In honor of Washington Irving's famous tale, the town of the North Tarrytown, New York, voted to remain itself Sleepy Hollow in 1996. Okay, so is this a sentence fragment? No. Why is it not a sentence fragment? Because it says, in honor of Washington's Irving famous tale, the town of North Tarrytown, New York, voted. It shows what they did. So imagine that it just says the town of Tarrytown, New York, to remain itself Sleepy Hollow in 1996. Voted was, imagine that voted was missing in that sentence. Then you know that that sentence is incorrect. It's a sentence fragment because we do not know what they did. But now it's complete because it says they voted. This is what happened. Okay. So yeah, basically that's it. We will try to see some more examples before we go to the test. So when scientists sequenced the DNA of domestic cats, they made a startling discovery: a remarkable similarity between the genomes of house cats and those of the feline relatives in the wild. Okay, so now is this a sentence fragment? Okay, so yes, it says it's a sentence fragment. So why is it a sentence fragment? So a remarkable similarity between the genomes of house cats and those of their feline relative in the wild. Okay, so now to fix it, you have to say they made a startling discovery. Then you put a semicolon, a remarkable similarity between the genomes of house cats and those of their valent relative in the wild. Okay. So now the thing that is missing is that they made it two sentences. Okay, they put a period after the discovery, but now you're trying to talk about something. You're trying to tell us that this is what you did. So it's like a continuation to the sentence what the scientist did. Okay, but it was separated to be like a different sentence, and of course it's not a different sentence, it's meant to be joined together. Okay, so that's it. That's what this is all about. So yeah, let's see. So in 2004, a team of archaeologists discovered a 3 foot tall skeleton dumped the hobbit in Indonesia. Even after 10 years, experts still debate whether the skeleton belonged to a modern human. So, is this a sentence fragment? No, because it's a complete sentence and it gives you details. It says, in 2004, a team of archaeologists discovered a 3 foot tall skeleton dumped the hobbits in Indonesia. So they discovered the skeleton and where it was discovered. Now, even after 10 years, the period, because it starts with even, it's like added information. So even after 10 years, experts still debate whether the skeleton belonged to a modern human. So that's it. So now we have, is this a sentence fragment? As odd as it might seem, the Guadalupe Mountains National Park in Texas offers one of the finest examples of an ancient marine reef. It's not a sentence fragment because it is complete. It tells you what the mountain offers and nothing is missing because it says that as odd as it might seem, the Guadalupe Mountains National Park in Texas offers one of the finest examples of an Asian marine reef. So that's basically it with sentence fragments and complete sentence. You just need to be able to differentiate them, find the examples, and yeah, that will be it. Okay, so we will try now to answer the questions. Okay, we go to the test now. So, is this a sentence fragment? Whereas the spirit and opportunity space rovers were solar powered. The Mars rover known as Curiosity is nuclear powered. So now is this gonna be a sentence fragment or it's not a sentence fragment? So we have to look at the sentence carefully to be able to check if something is missing. Okay? Solar powered, the Mars rover known as Curiosity is nuclear powered. So let's say that yes, it's a sentence. Oh, let me go back again so that you can see this. So I clicked on yes earlier on, but it's not a sentence fragment. So, again, it moves very quickly. I need to show you an example. Okay, so you see now it is not a sentence fragment. It's no, because this sentence is actually complete. If you read it carefully, you can see that it's a complete sentence. Nothing is missing in this sentence. Okay, so what you need to do is if ever you click on something and then it is wrong, all you need to do is just scroll down like this. Go down, read the tutorials again, try to understand what's going on or what it's all about and why you got it all wrong. That'll be the best. So if ever you get something wrong, all you need to do is just read again. Okay, it's gonna show you, oh, this is how you do it. And as long as you see this is how you do it, because you got it wrong, just read it all over again. And that's perfect. Okay, just so that you learn from the mistake that you made earlier. So now it's asking if this is a sentence fragment. Now, long ago, fossils were used as evidence to support mythic tales. In fact, 4th century Chinese historian Chan Ku once mislabeled a giant dinosaur bone as that of a dragon. So we're gonna say no because this is not a sentence fragment, it's a complete sentence. Now, in 1961, the First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy gave her husband, President John F. Kennedy, an artistically engraved whale tooth, which was eventually buried with him in Arlington National Cemetery. Okay, so is this a sentence fragment? Look at this. It has a period and then which. Okay, so it's a sentence fragment because after the tooth, it's which. So you're supposed to maybe have a comma to like join the sentences, not that the sentence is separated because it has which, meaning that it's giving us like more details, more explanation about what the wife did. But then it has a period. That means it's ending the first statement and starting another one. But it's starting with which is not possible. Like it's supposed to be joined as long as you want to say which to show that you are giving like more details. So yeah. Now, because the San Gabriel Mountains in California received more than 3 million visitors every year, the area has become polluted with litter. Is this a sentence fragment? No, this is not a sentence fragment because it's a complete sentence. Nothing is missing. So close to visitors since the 1960s, the Ferrohoric cave painting in Lascaux, France, are between 15,000 and 17,000 years old. Okay, so close to the visitors since the 1960s, the prehistoric cave paintings in Lascaux, France, are okay. So close to the visitors, close to the visitors. So let's say yes. Now it says no because it gives you like a detailed explanation close to the visitors, close to visitors. Okay? So now, yeah. Now next is during the Precambrian period, most of Earth's life forms lived in oceans. Meanwhile, land masses were mostly devoid of life. So is this a sentence fragment? So you say during the Precambrian period, most of Earth's life forms lived in oceans. Meanwhile, land were mostly devoid of life. So we say no because it's a complete sentence, it's not missing anything. So a new detective series by J.K. Rowling, published under the pseudonym of Robert Galbraith after she completed her 7-volume Harry Potter series. So is this a sentence fragment? So yeah, it's a sentence fragment because that sentence is not complete. It's definitely missing something. So basically, everyone, that's how it's done. All you need to do is just like read carefully the questions. When you read them carefully, you can be able to differentiate if it's sentence fragment or complete sentence. Like I have said, sentence fragment is not missing anything. It's missing something. It's gonna be the subject, the verb, or independent clause or anything. Okay, so it could be missing something, but then complete sentence makes sense and it doesn't miss anything. Okay, so we have identified run-on sentences. So we'll move on to the next lesson. So let's explain this now. We know that the sentence, a complete sentence, is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. Of course, we know that. So moving on now to the run-on. A run-on sentence is formed with two sentences a run-on sentence is formed when two sentences are run together, joined by just a comma or by no punctuation at all. So you see this run-on. You have two sentences in the sentence. So now you have two joined together. Now this sentence could be joined by a comma, and maybe the comma was not put in the right manner or with no punctuation at all. So if only a comma is used, the run-on is called a comma splice. Okay, so if it's used only, like if only the comma is used in that sentence, yes, then it's also not correct, because for the comma, only the comma to be used, then so now if only the comma is used, it is like called a comma splice, right? So that's the thing, because only a comma cannot be used. Probably it needs some sort of conjunction or something in the in the sentence, okay? But only a comma, then obviously it's a comma splice, and then two sentences joined together that should be separated are called run-ons. So that's the thing. So now, for example, the band I am in has been rehearsing daily. There's a comma. We have a concert in 2 weeks. Now, the band I am in has been rehearsing daily. We have a concert in 2 weeks. So now this one has two sentences joined together but no punctuation. This one has a comma in the sentence. Now, there are several ways to fix a run-on sentence. Okay, the best way to fix a run-on sentence, you could use a stronger punctuation such as period or semicolon. Okay, so instead of using just a comma or something, you can use a stronger punctuation. So it could be a period. So we can have a period to separate these two sentences. The band I am in has been rehearsing daily. You put a period here and start it with another sentence. So just like this, the band I am in has been rehearsing daily, a period. We have a concert in 2 weeks, or a semicolon. Then you have the other part of the sentence. Now, why it is called a comma splice is because you cannot use only a comma. You need to use a comma with coordinating conjunction. If you put only a comma, it's a comma splice, which makes it a run-on sentence. Now, if you want to put a comma, it comes with coordinating conjunctions such as and, but, or so. That is what makes the sentence correct. Okay? So you make it and then you create a compound sentence out of it. But only with a comma, then no, it's a comma splice. Okay? Which makes it a run on sentence. So now, The band I'm rehearsing in The band I am in has been rehearsing daily. Look at the comma, and we have a concert in 2 weeks. So instead of just leaving it with a comma, you have the and here, coordinating conjunction. So you make this into a compound sentence. That's what is being done. So now you can also use a coordinating conjunction or a relative pronoun to create a complex sentence. So even out of the run-on, you can use coordinating conjunction or relative pronoun to create a complex sentence. So these are examples of the coordinating conjunction here. We have the examples, and then we have the relative pronouns. These are the relative pronouns here. Okay? So, for example, you want to create a complex sentence. This is an example. The band I am in has been rehearsing daily since we have a concert in 2 weeks. So, that is another format to put the sentence. So, first, note that you could use a period to separate a run-on sentence. And what did I say is run-on? Run-on is two sentences joined together, or with a comma, which makes it a comma splice, or with no punctuation at all. So in general, you have two sentences together in a sentence. So first, you can fix it with a period. So you separate the two sentences, put it a period, and the next sentence will start with a capital letter. Then next, you can put a semicolon. So you can also use a semicolon, which is a stronger punctuation, or we you can also use like coordinating conjunction. So coordinating conjunctions now, then you have to use and, but, or so. Okay, so in place of that comma, so if you want to really use a comma, then you put a comma and either of the coordinating conjunction to make it a compound sentence. Then another one is if you want to make it a complex sentence, you use the subordinating conjunction or relative pronoun. So there's literally like three different ways, no, four, right? I think it's five at this point. Yeah. So we have period, semicolon, coordinating conjunction, complex sentences with subordinating conjunction and relative pronoun. So you have five ways to fix a run-on sentence. All right. So that's it for run-on sentence. So we will check some examples. So clinging to a 2 points led in the final minute of the fourth quarter, the Tigers triumphed when their defense recovered a fumble and sealed the victory. So, is this a run-on sentence? No, it's not a run-on sentence because it forms two sentences that have been run together. Okay, so it's not a run-on sentence, it's a complete sentence. Okay, so run-on is two sentences that are joined together, running together without a punctuation or something. So now we have, according to a 2008 study, Horg farms across 5 countries in eastern North Carolina produce more than 50 million tons of manure every year, creating a waste management challenge of epic proportions for country officials. So, is this a run on? No, it's not a run on. So, let's look for an example that says it's a run on. Okay, okay, we need to find an example so that you see how it is. So so let's see if this one is a run on. So let me read this sentence. Okay, so I think this is a run on. So we have lasagna is a delicious comfort food. It can be made healthier with the addition of vegetables such as mushroom and kale. So this is a run on sentence because it says it's a comfort food first and then it can be made healthier. So that's another sentence on its own. So it has a comma and it's a comma splice. So if you want to fix that, you can actually make it a compound sentence and say leave the comma and then say but it's a delicious comfort food but it can be made healthier. So you see, That's what you can do. All right. That's another way that you can fix the sentence. Okay. So yeah. Or if you want, you can instead remove it as a compound sentence and put a period, and then it's a delicious comfort food. It can be made healthier. Yes, you can do it in different ways. It's just literally up to what you want. Okay. So let's see. Okay, this one down here is a run on. So my favorite furniture company offers more than 100 different fabrics to choose from. You can order. See, look at this part here. To choose from. This is supposed to be like a period or something to separate it. But then it says, my favorite furniture company offers more than 100 different fabrics to choose from. You can order free fabric swatches to see what looks best with your decor. So you can order like free fabric swatches to see. Now it's like this part. Yeah, this is it. From here, you can make it a compound sentence. So put a comma and then a coordinating conjunction. Okay? But it was joined together. So that's the thing. Okay? So yeah, that's basically it for run-ons. We'll go back to the test now and see. Okay? So yeah. Okay, so let's see. Move on to the test now. So in 1227, Genghis Khan, the Mongol leader who conquered much of Central Asia, died. He was buried in an unmarked grave, and its location remains a mystery today. Okay, so now let's see. Asia died. He was buried. Okay, so this is not a run-on sentence, right? Okay. So we see that it's not a run on. So yeah. Okay, so let's see. Now to fix this as a run on sentence, what do we do? We can look at it. So now he was buried. Okay, so after died, the part that says he died, right? Okay. Now that sentence was joined together. Okay. So look at it here. Just a moment. Okay. All right, so this part that says died, he was buried. Okay, this part should be separated. So you can have a period, but they were all joined with a comma, so many comma. And then if you take note of this Central Asia died. This should have been like one sentence on its own, right? And then he was buried in an unmarked grave, and its location remains in history today. Okay, so that's it. So it's a run on sentence. We need to be very careful when we choose our answers. Okay, so the octopus is often considered to be the most intelligent invertebrate and a master of disguise. It can instantly match the colors and texture of its environment to hide from predators. So there's a semicolon here. So it's not a run on because that sentence is fixed. It has the semicolon. So it was two sentences, but it's fixed already. So yeah, no, that sentence is okay. And then an avalanche occurs when a large slab of snow tears away from its resting spot on a slope that has at least a 30-degree grade, often triggered by human activity. Avalanches are nevertheless natural disasters. So let's say it's not a run-on because there's a semicolon. That sentence is literally already fixed. So no, it's not a run-on. So white chocolate does not contain cacao solid. It contains milk solid, cocoa. Okay. So is this a run-on sentence? So yes, it's a run-on sentence because this part that had the it contains that is a comma slide, so it's supposed to be fixed. Okay. Yeah, according to the legend, Spanish Juan first de Leon was searching for the fountain of youth. According to historians, he was more likely seeking the political power. Okay, so this is a run-on. It's a run-on because from according to historians, yeah, it's supposed to be separated. Now, on June 22, 1944, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the GI Bill. It provided funding for services catering to veterans such as home loans, job counseling, unemployment insurance, and education. Bill. So, yes, it's a runner. So after the bill part, it's supposed to have a period and start another sentence, but it was all joined together. So that's basically what you do. You just have to look in between the sentence, read carefully as well, so that you can be able to differentiate the run-on from the complete sentence. So we'll move on to what this one, the last part. So it says choose punctuation to avoid fragments and run on. You have to choose punctuation to avoid the fragments and the run on. I hope you still remember the fragments, okay? Fragments is the one missing either a subject or verb, independent clause, while run on is the one joined together, okay? So yeah, it says use a comma to separate two complete sentences that are joined with a coordinating conjunction such as and or but or so. However, if the coordinating conjunction joins verbs or verb phrase, a compound predicate, a comma should not be used. Okay, so if now, you should use a comma to separate two complex sentences. It's normal to use that. And you have to use, like, maybe the coordinating conjunction. But if the coordinating conjunction joins verbs or verb phrases in a compound predicate, then a comma should not be used. Now, what was reserved around new people, but he was hardly shy. Now, what was reserved around new people, but was hardly shy? Okay, so also use a comma after a dependent clause. Dependent clause is the one that cannot stand alone. It needs support and all that. Okay, if it is followed by a complete sentence, then dependent clauses usually start with a subordinating conjunction such as after, although, or because. So dependent clauses usually start with coordinating conjunction. All right. So yeah, if the comma is followed by dependent clause, then it's yeah. If the comma is after dependent clause, then it is followed by a complete sentence. So yeah, although words was reserved around new people, he was hardly shy. So this is like with a subordinating conjunction. So now that's how you use columns, commas. Now this is semicolons. Use semicolon to connect two closely related sentences that are not joined with a coordinating conjunction. So two closely related sentences that are not joined with a coordinating conjunction. So when they are not joined, like this. Then you use a semicolon. So use a semicolon to connect two sentences that are joined with a conjunctive adverbs such as consequently, however, or therefore. So you know when you have like therefore, however, consequently, nevertheless, we always like use a semicolon first and then we have them. So yeah, that's the conjunctive adverb. So you use a semicolon to join conjunctive adverbs. Now use a colon to introduce a list after a complete sentence. It is a list. If a list does not follow a complete sentence, do not use punctuation to produce the list. So if you have a complete sentence, a sentence that makes sense, like my parents have visited much of Western Europe. Now you want to list the country that they've gone to, you use a column, okay? Like Austria, Belgium, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, the Netherlands, Portugal, and Spain. Okay, so my parents have visited many of Western Europe, including. So if it has including, okay, if a list does not follow a complete sentence, do not use a punctuation to introduce the list. Just like this one now, it has a comma here, then it says including. All right, using punctuations and conjunctions correctly allow you to avoid sentence fragments, run-on, comma splice, and inappropriate transition. Okay, so that's basically the use of knowing how to use your punctuation. If you can use your punctuation well, and you can also like use your commas and all those things, conjunction, you see that you avoid making um mistakes in your sentence, which is very important for you. Okay, we have which is the best way to complete the text, right? Amanda traced her family's lineage back to the 18th dash, cross-referenced her grandmother's stories with a genealogical index at the library. So, what is the best way to fit in this sentence? Best way to complete it. So let's look at this. So now it's gonna give you what 18th century, right? And a period. Okay? She. So if you complete it, then the next one should start with what? A new sentence. Okay? So let's go to the test and try to have more ideas together. Although Wayne was born in Canada, his parents are US dash. He has dual citizenship and seek employment in either countries. Okay? What do you think would be the best suitable answer? Is it going to be, although Wayne was born in Canada, his parents are US citizens, so he has dual citizenship, or is it gonna be therefore? So let's use therefore. So you see that therefore makes sense, right? And they said you should use a semicolon once it has a complete sentence, right? So yeah. So now that they have retired, my grandparents spend most weekends volunteering for local Dutch, hosting dinner parties at their lake home. So is it gonna be volunteering for local charities or hosting? So this one. So if you click on the wrong answer, okay, you need to see an example of what happened. So when you click on wrong answer, just scroll down. It's going to give you a detailed explanation. Remember that we cannot use commas without like coordinating conjunction or something attached to it. If you use that alone, it becomes a comma splice. So yeah, this is going to be wrong because it's a comma splice. So if you want to use a comma, then yeah, it was ballast. Okay, so we did this in the tutorials. You must be present at the raffle drawing in order to claim a dash. If you leave early, you automatically forfeit your potential winnings. So, prize consequently. So once you're going to use words, a semicolon, you know there's specific words that you use with them. Consequently, however, nevertheless, therefore, all this type. So Stacy's writing is effective because it is dash. It is able to communicate complex ideas with few words. So is because it is economical, or because it's economical, she is able. So we'll go with this one because that sentence already has because. So if you put another because, then it doesn't make sense. Warren's summer vacation in Montana consisted almost entirely of outdoor dash riding, hiking. Yeah, so it's gonna be outdoor activities with this one or this one. So let's go with the second. So yeah, because you need to put a column. So right, all right. Liam thrift is evident in his refusal to dispose of dash, even saves the extra forks and knives that are delivered with his takeout order. So, Trips is evident in his refusal to dispose of plastic wares. Come on. Is it he, this one, or this one? So, it's going to be this one. So, oh, okay, I was going to show you. All right, so that's basically everything. You need to be careful when you choose the answer. So if you choose a comma, most times you become a comma splice because commas alone do not go, so they always want to be added with maybe a coordinating conjunction, subordinating conjunction. There's a lot of things that you can add with comma or relative pronoun, and we've gone through them. Okay, but if you have more questions and if you still do not understand the lesson, you can actually watch the video again and maybe go through the lessons again, the tutorials really carefully, and then I'm 100% sure that you're going to understand after that. All right, so I do hope that you can complete this lesson. Try to finish the lesson, and yeah, have a good night and see you next week. Bye, everyone.